All right, let's unpack this one, shall we? We're diving into Snowpiercer.
Ooh, good one.
This 2013 sci-fi thriller set entirely on a train hurtling through a frozen Earth. Now,
Yeah.
you've given us a really fascinating mix of sources for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We've got the IMDb details. We've got reviews from diehard fans.
Right.
We've got reviews from people who absolutely hated it.
Yeah, it seems like a polarizing one.
Perfect for a deep dive.
Absolutely.
Our mission today is to go beyond just the plot.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to explore the film's social commentary, the incredible visuals,
Right.
and what makes this film so captivating
Mm-hmm.
or infuriating, judging by some of these reviews.
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that it sparks some pretty strong feelings.
So, to set the stage, right?
Yeah, okay.
The premise: a failed climate change experiment freezes the entire Earth.
Right.
The only survivors
Oh, wow.
live on this train called Snowpiercer,
Okay.
which is endlessly circling the globe.
Interesting.
But this is no luxury cruise.
Okay.
Okay? Think like rigid class system. The elite at the front,
Oh, I see where this is going.
the downtrodden in the tail.
Classic dystopian setup.
Yeah, and a lot of reviewers drew parallels to classic dystopian literature.
Right.
You know, like 1984 Animal Farm.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like Snowpiercer is holding up a funhouse mirror
Yeah.
to those themes.
Right, taking those familiar ideas and giving them a fresh, a very chilled spin, I guess you could say.
And it's that visual dichotomy that really grabs you, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
The film doesn't shy away from contrasting the opulent excess of the front cars
Right.
with the really grim reality of that tail section.
Mm-hmm.
You're instantly immersed in this world, right,
Yeah.
where survival is a daily struggle.
Right.
Basic necessities are a luxury.
Definitely a world you wouldn't want to be in.
No. And that's where Chris Evans' character, Curtis, comes in.
Oh, yeah, Captain America himself.
Yeah, exactly. He spent 17 years in that tail section, fueled by anger
Makes sense.
and this just gnawing sense that things have to change.
A very relatable feeling, I think.
But he's not, your typical action hero,
Yeah,
right?
not exactly, no.
Some reviewers actually found his performance a little understated.
Mm-hmm.
But personally, I think that adds to the character's depth.
Yeah, I can see that.
Curtis is carrying the weight of years of hardship,
Right.
You could practically see the trauma on his face.
Yeah, it's a more internal performance.
Exactly.
Which I think makes his ultimate decision to rebel even more impactful.
Yeah, it's not just about him anymore.
Right.
It's about fighting for everyone.
Fighting for a better future, breaking free from that system.
Exactly. And that journey to the front of the train.
Oh, yeah.
Each car that they battle through, it reveals a new layer of this twisted society.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, but instead of tears, it's violence and social commentary.
You mentioned that one scene in the IMDb notes where there's a brutal fight
Yeah, I remember that.
that's punctuated by the New Year's countdown.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's so...
That's such a Bong Joon Ho touch, right?
Yeah, it is. Talk about dark comedy, right?
Exactly.
It's like the film is saying, even in this dystopian nightmare,
Right.
time marches on, oblivious to the struggle.
Absolutely. And that's where his signature style really shines through.
Yeah.
This isn't just, mindless action.
Yeah, right.
There's a layer of social commentary woven into every single frame.
He's using these really stark contrasts.
Mm-hmm.
The violence
Mm-hmm.
juxtaposed with absurdity
Right.
to really make us question the systems that we take for granted.
Yeah, it's making you think while you're on the edge of your seat.
And he's done this before too, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Memories of a Murder,
Mm-hmm.
The Host,
Mm-hmm.
he's not afraid to tackle tough topics
No, not at all.
with this blend of humor
Yeah.
and really gut-punching reality.
Right. It's his trademark.
So some critics see Snowpiercer as a natural progression of his work.
Yeah.
They argue that he's masterful at blending genres,
Mm-hmm.
weaving social commentary into these thrilling narratives
Mm-hmm.
that keep you on the edge of your seat.
It's a winning formula.
But of course, not everyone is on board with this approach, right?
Of course not. There are always different opinions.
Some reviewers call the film a heavy-handed mess,
Oh, wow.
claiming his message is too obvious.
Interesting.
Which I think raises a fascinating question.
Yeah.
Is Snowpiercer too blatant in its critique?
Hmm.
Or is that unapologetic approach what makes it so powerful?
Right, because you think about those comparisons to Animal Farm.
Yeah.
Both stories use allegory to expose the dangers of unchecked power,
Uh-huh.
but Snowpiercer does it with a visual punch that's impossible to ignore.
Yeah, it's like the train itself is a character.
Right.
This monstrous embodiment of social stratification.
Very powerful visual.
Yeah, you can't escape the visual metaphor. those in the front living in luxury
Hmm.
are literally consuming the resources and lives
Yeah.
of those trapped in the back.
A very stark representation of inequality.
And the film doesn't let you forget it.
Yeah. Definitely not.
Even those small details, like the mention of extinct items like cigarettes,
Oh, right, yeah.
serve as these stark reminders of the world that they've lost and the sacrifices they've made.
Yeah, those little details really add to the overall atmosphere.
Okay, so I've got this visually stunning film,
Right.
a director known for his bold style, and a premise that's clearly resonating with people, but generating wildly different reactions.
Yeah, it's definitely a conversation starter.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
It seems like we've only scratched the surface of this one.
This deep dive is far from over.
Oh, we've got a lot more to uncover.
We've only just scratched the surface of what makes Snowpiercer such a fascinating and at times frustrating piece of cinema.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we talked about the visuals, the director's style, the overall vibe, but what about the people trapped in this this frozen metal tube?
The characters. Each one is like a piece of a puzzle, right? Representing a different facet of how humanity responds to this crisis.
Totally. You've got those clinging to hope, those consumed by despair, those just scrambling for power.
Right, it's a whole spectrum of human nature.
And Curtis, our reluctant leader, is right in the middle of it all.
Front center.
We talked about his performance being a little stoic.
Right.
But I'm curious, what did you make of his internal struggle?
It's fascinating, isn't it? He's driven by this righteous anger, this need to just break free. But he's also haunted by the things he's done to survive, in the tail section, the choices he's had to make. They're eating away at him.
Yeah, and that guilt fuels his determination.
Absolutely.
It's not just about a better life for him. It's almost like he's seeking redemption.
Yeah, like he needs to atone for his past.
Yeah.
And it's that complexity that makes him so compelling.
Right. He's not just a perfect hero. He's flawed. He's struggling. He's human.
Exactly. And that makes him relatable.
Which is a stark contrast to Tilda Swinton's character.
Mason.
Oh,
Mason.
She's practically chewing the scenery with every line.
She is glorious, isn't she? I mean, she embodies that oppressive system, cold, calculating, and just utterly convinced that she's right.
Remember that line. Order is the barrier that holds back the flood of death.
Oh, chills. Literal chills.
Like she's the mouthpiece for this dehumanizing ideology.
Right. People are just cogs in a machine to her.
And that's what makes her so effective as an antagonist, I think.
Oh, absolutely. She represents the dangers of blind faith and authority.
Yeah.
That willingness to sacrifice individual freedom for, order.
Yeah. And it's like the film's asking us, how far would you go to maintain control? What lines would you cross to ensure your own survival?
Right. It's making you confront some uncomfortable truths.
It is, but it's not just about the big overarching themes either, right?
No, definitely not.
Snowpiercer also explores these little nuances of human relationships, the bonds that form even in the most dire circumstances.
Absolutely. Like the relationship between Curtis and Gilliam.
Yeah.
Played by the late, great John Hurt.
There's a clear respect there.
Oh, yeah.
Like this mentor-student thing that goes way beyond just the rebellion.
It's a father-son dynamic almost.
Yeah. Which makes the later revelations about Gilliam even more impactful.
Oh, absolutely. Talk about a gut punch.
It really forces you to reevaluate everything you thought you knew.
Right. Makes you question their motivations.
Yeah.
And raises questions about leadership,
Yeah.
The sacrifices we make for the greater good. Do the ends justify the means?
Yeah. Okay, now we have to talk about Namgung Min-soo.
Oh, yes. The security expert.
Played by Kang-ho.
Brilliant actor.
He's got his own agenda.
Right.
His own reasons for wanting to break free.
He's a bit of an enigma, isn't he?
He is. He's driven by addiction. Haunted by loss. Yet he has this crucial knowledge, right?
Yes.
That could be the key to their escape.
He's a wild card. You're never quite sure what he's going to do.
Yeah, and his daughter Yona.
Right.
With her almost supernatural ability to sense things.
Yeah, that adds another layer of intrigue.
It's like they represent a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, a possibility of something beyond the train.
In this otherwise bleak world.
Exactly. And that ties back to the film's environmental message.
Oh.
This all started because of a failed attempt to combat climate change.
Right.
The frozen Earth is a constant reminder of what happens when we mess with nature.
But some critics say that the film doesn't really delve deep enough into the environmental themes, that it's more focused on the social and political dynamics inside the train.
It's true that it's not an explicitly environmental film.
Right.
But I'd argue that the setting itself makes a powerful statement.
Yeah.
I mean, that frozen wasteland is a constant presence, a visual reminder of what's been lost.
And all those little details we talked about,
Yeah.
the extinct items, it's like the film is saying, this is what happens when we don't listen.
Right, it's a warning.
Yeah. Okay, so Snowpiercer is this multi-layered critique
Absolutely.
of social structures, of power dynamics, of the choices we make when faced with impossible odds.
It really makes you think about the world we live in.
It does. It's like the train becomes this microcosm of the world, right?
Right.
This cautionary tale about unchecked power and inequality.
And that's why it's still so relevant today.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing these same issues play out on a global scale, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Climate change, social unrest, the gap between the rich and the poor.
It's like that train hurtling through the frozen wasteland is a metaphor for our own society.
Yeah, heading towards an uncertain future.
Which brings us to the ending.
Oh, the ending.
No spoilers.
Right.
But we know it's divisive.
Definitely a talking point.
Some find it hopeful. Some find it confusing.
Right.
Some downright frustrating.
And that ambiguity is intentional, I think.
Yeah.
It's not about easy answers.
Right.
It's about making us confront these uncomfortable truths and grapple with the complexities of the world.
So where does that leave us? What's the takeaway from this wild ride through a frozen dystopia? Okay, so we've really unpacked a lot here.
We have.
We've talked about the symbolism, the characters, all those morally gray areas.
Yeah.
But Snowpiercer doesn't just end when the credits roll, right?
It definitely lingers in your mind, and it's sparked a whole universe of spin-offs and analysis.
Let's talk about that TV show.
Okay.
I remember when it premiered back in 2020. A lot of buzz.
Yeah, a lot of anticipation.
Some people were thrilled to kind of revisit that world.
Yeah.
Others were skeptical.
Right.
You know, could it capture the same magic?
Well, and that's the thing. I don't think it was trying to be a carbon copy of the film.
Right.
It took that core concept, the train, as this microcosm of society, and ran with it in new directions.
Interesting.
New characters, new conflicts, and, you know, peeled back more layers of the mystery of what lies beyond the frozen wasteland.
So it wasn't just a cash grab,
No, not at all.
trying to capitalize on the film's success.
I think it genuinely expanded on the world.
Oh, that's cool.
It felt like an exploration of all those unanswered questions, the what-ifs that linger in your mind after the film.
Right, like what happens to the survivors?
Exactly.
Can they rebuild society? Will they learn from their mistakes?
Right, and is there actually any hope for a future outside the train?
Oh, good questions. And it's interesting to think about, you know, both the film and the TV show are based on a graphic novel.
Right, Le Transperceneige.
Transperceneige.
Published back in 1982.
Wow, 82. So they're pulling from really rich source material.
Oh, yeah.
Going way back.
And, you know, reading the graphic novel adds a whole other layer to the Snowpiercer experience.
Oh, how so?
It dives deeper into the history of how the train was created, the origins of that social hierarchy.
Okay.
It even explores Wilford's psychology.
Oh, wow.
The engineer behind it all.
Interesting. So for those who really want to go down the rabbit hole, the source material offers even more to chew on.
Absolutely.
And then there's the academic analyses.
Right, the scholars getting in on the action.
Dissecting the themes, the symbolism, its place within the whole dystopian genre.
Yeah, it's amazing how much there is to unpack.
It's like Snowpiercer has become this cultural touchstone, right?
It has.
Sparking conversations, not just about entertainment, but about the real challenges facing our world.
Definitely. It's a film that makes you think.
So why do you think this film, released over a decade ago, still resonates so strongly today?
I think it's because those anxieties haven't gone away, you know?
Anxieties.
About climate change, social inequality, abuse of power. In some ways, those fears have become even more prominent.
It's like the train hurtling through that frozen wasteland. It's almost a metaphor for our own society.
Yeah.
Heading towards this uncertain future, grappling with forces we can't control.
Exactly. And Snowpiercer doesn't shy away from the darkness, from the brutality of what happens when those forces are left unchecked.
Yeah.
But it also offers these little glimmers of hope, These moments of human connection, reminding us that even in the darkest times, we're capable of compassion, of fighting for something better.
I like that. So what does this all mean for you, dear listener? You've heard the different perspectives. You've explored the depths of this crazy dystopian world. What resonates with you?
Is it a cautionary tale? Is it a mirror reflecting our anxieties? Or is it just a thrilling piece of escapist entertainment?
Maybe it's all those things.
It's all of them.
That's the beauty of a deep dive like this. We're not here to tell you what to think.
Right.
We're here to give you the tools to think for yourself.
But go forth and ponder.
I love it. And remember, the conversation doesn't end here.
It never does.
Snowpiercer is a film that demands to be discussed, debated, revisited.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe in another decade we'll be back here diving even deeper into the ever-expanding world of Snowpiercer. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those mental engines running.